some young people, you'll already know exactly what you want to do. You'll have a career goal mapped out and understand what's required at each stage to meet your objective. For others, it's not that simple. You might be undecided, confused, ill-informed, or uninspired. That's not uncommon, and there's help on hand. Whether you need help knowing how to make a choice, a summary of the choices available, a look into non-traditional options, an alternative provision based on your individual needs, we've got you covered. This is the fourth module in our series of introductions to post-16 choices. So far, we've covered A-levels, T-levels, apprenticeships, traineeships and supported internships, vocational and technical qualifications, including BTECs, short courses and study programmes. Now, today's module will include a brief recap of these, as well as exploring how you can make sure that you're making the right choice and what to do if you still aren't sure. We'll also cover some more of the options open to you if nothing has been right so far. Maybe you aren't interested in anything that's been presented to you, or maybe it just isn't right for you at this moment. Or you're looking for an option that's a bit different and something with a bit more support. If this is the case, then hopefully today's module will answer some of your questions. So, there are some very popular pathways for 16-year-olds to take, and you're probably aware of these already from talking to friends, family, other students, and your teachers or advisors. It's probably safe to say that studying A-levels at college has been mentioned numerous times, and you might have thought that what college and what A-levels are the only choices that you need to make. If you have a career goal in mind which requires you to study A-levels and go on to university, then this is possibly the right option for you. But bear in mind that it isn't necessarily the only route to a university degree in today's education system. You might also be under the impression that you can't leave school at 16 and get a job anymore. Whilst this is a widely held opinion, it isn't strictly true. You can leave school at the end of the school year in which you turn 16, and remember there are slight differences in the education systems across the UK, but you're expected to continue to receive some training and education until you reach the age of 18. We have mentioned before that you can leave school and start working for someone else, yourself, or volunteering 20 hours or more a week and combine this with part-time education. Making the right choice for you will depend on a range of things, and you should spend some time thinking about what you want to happen as a result of the choices that you're making. Remember that time will go much faster over the next couple of years, and you'll be making a lot of important decisions about your future in quick succession. For some of you, this will be exciting and something you've been eager to do. For others, this will be a scary prospect, and you might not want to make these choices at all. Both of these approaches and everything in between is completely normal, and it's okay to feel like this. Becoming an adult and making decisions which affect your future are big steps, but you aren't on your own. There are lots of organisations, services and people ready to help you. You can find a selection of these on the Stockport Jobs Match website, and you can also make an appointment with an advisor as part of our FE Choices Week event and access the helpline available on Friday. Use the resources on Stockport Jobs Match and GMAX to help you plan where you want to go, and use the provider presentations and the pages in the training directory on Stockport Jobs Match to help you understand what's available and fill in the gaps between where you want to be and how you can get there. This way, you'll also be building yourself an address book of people you can talk to about your options, helping you make a really informed decision. Think about the future. Where do you want to be in 5 years? Think about your career goals, your qualification goals, and your personal goals. You might want to stop, pause the video, and spend a few minutes now to think about how you feel about this and who can help you in achieving this goal. Write it down, draw it, sing it. It's your goal, make it personal. You also need to think about the now. Where you are right now, how do you feel about your goal? Are you feeling confident about achieving that goal? Do you know what you will need to do in order to start your journey? Start by identifying the things that you need. Qualifications. Look the job role up on the National Careers Service website, through advertisements for job vacancies or on the internet. Are there specific qualifications that you need? Are you going to need to resit some of your GCSEs if you don't get the results you need? Or do you need a level 2 access course to get there? Skills and experience. Do you need certain skills or look for work experience in a certain sector? Check out the work experience section on the Stockport Jobs Match website in the Careers Hub and look at how to get work experience. And you can also watch our next video for more details on how to find placements and what they include. Behaviours and personal development. Do you need to develop your confidence and communication skills, for example? Do you need to learn some more personal independent skills such as travel, timekeeping, managing your money, etc.? We will come on to money, earning money, bank accounts, national insurance numbers later, so be sure to keep tuned. You also need to think about the how. FE Choices Week aims to put as many of the hows in front of you as possible. We've invited providers to deliver presentations as well as putting all of their information in one easy location for you. You'll find the resources and guides for all of the paths mentioned this week on the Jobs Match website, as well as being able to talk to providers and independent advisors in our evening Q&A sessions throughout the week. The recordings can be watched with family, friends, parents, guardians, so that you can share your thoughts and use them as starting points for further research. We understand that there's lots of information and that these are big decisions. So you can pause and replay these videos as many times as you need to. Come back to them again and again. If you are watching this after the 14th of May, you will still find that all the providers are more than happy to discuss your options with you, and all this information will still be available for the foreseeable. So just pick up the phone, drop them an email, or use the live chat on the website if there is one. Now, up until now, it's likely that you and your friends have followed the same paths, the same subjects, the same schools, the same after-school activities, etc. And it's normal to feel a little anxious about stepping away from the comfort of things that are familiar or making decisions that are different to your peers. But at this point, you need to start making choices that are right for you and follow your goals. There may be other things for you to consider for some of you who are taking steps into semi-independent living or becoming fully independent. And you can find advice and guidance through the council services to help you. And again, we'll mention those shortly. Throughout the week, we have encouraged you to arm yourself with information. The purpose of these sessions is to provide you with completely impartial advice. That is to say, to put all of your options, or as many as we can fit into a week, in front of you, so that you can start exploring which ones suit you and which ones will take you to where you need to go. You don't need to take a direct path to where you want to go, but it is important to have a plan. In fact, have at least two, so that if something goes wrong, you have a backup. Think about what interests you. It's easier to stay motivated and committed to a goal that you want to achieve. Research what you need. Always plan ahead and know what the requirements are for the next step are. Know yourself. What kind of environment suit you? What are your strengths and weaknesses? Remember that those who do well at interview are those who know themselves inside and out, and those who excel in the workplace know the kind of environment that they will thrive in. On the Jobs Match website, there are a series of next step planning tools, including a skills builder and evaluation form that helps you break down what you're good at, what you're interested in, and where that could take you. Talk to others. Seek opinions and advice from those you trust. Talk to people who have experience and can give you tips. Tell people how you are feeling if you are anxious or concerned. And we're going to come on to some of those anxieties shortly. Now, we'll quickly recap on the pathways we've already discussed. Remember that education funding changes after you turn 19. So whilst it's okay to change your mind, you might not have the full range of options available to you if you spend too long choosing or change your mind too many times. If the option you choose isn't right, it's best to talk to your provider early so that they can help you find an alternative, rather than missing lessons, not doing the work, losing interest and motivation. Okay, so now a really quick recap of everything. So A-levels. A-levels are level 3 qualifications, which are subject-based. They are 2 years long and one of the most popular choices for post-16 study. A-levels convert into UCAS points, which can help you apply for studying a degree. A-levels are linear courses, which means that you have exams at the end, which will form the majority of your grade. So, T-levels. T-levels are a relatively new qualification introduced in September 2020. They are 2 years long and level 3 courses like A-level, and they also have year-end exams. Your final grade, however, will be a mix of practical and project-based assessments as well as the exam. You'll need to do an industry placement of at least 315 hours, and each T-level is the equivalent to 3 A-levels, so they cover a lot of detail. If you missed the session on A-levels and T-levels, be sure to go back and watch the video. Next, apprenticeships. So apprenticeships are work-based programs. You're an employee of the company who will be given 20% of your working week off the job to continue your studies and work towards a vocational qualification which supports your role. There is an endpoint assessment to work towards, and you might have to resit your GCSEs or functional skills. You'll be paid at a minimum rate of £4.30 per hour at the age of 16 or in your first year. Traineeships. So traineeships are essentially work experience programs. They're a good stepping stone towards apprenticeships and employment if you're struggling to get past the application interview stage due to a lack of experience or the need to achieve some higher maths and English qualifications. Unlike an apprenticeship, you aren't an employee and you won't be entitled to a wage for the hours you complete. You might be entitled to a bursary to help with your costs and may be able to claim some benefits at the same time. So a supported internship. This is a course designed for people aged 16 to 25 who have an educational healthcare plan, an EHC or an EHCP, or a statement of special educational needs, SEN. These are work experience programs with additional support for those young people who need it. A young person undertaking a supported internship is expected to need that high levels of support, often offered as a one-to-one job coach, smaller classes or additional one-to-one support for the workplace training. They're normally longer in duration than a traineeship. Vocational and Technical Qualifications, or VTQs, they are a career or a skill-specific course which will prepare or license you to do a particular role or task. They vary greatly in length and difficulty, and there are lots of different ways you can choose to study them. VTQs are normally modular-based learning. This means that you'll study a unit at a time and be assessed in stages as you learn, and the assessments are varied. Short courses, they are exactly what they say they are, small bite-sized units of study. They usually focus on gaining a particular skill or on one specific subject or goal. They may or may not link up to a bigger qualification, but they're focused. So you have less time to develop the skills and knowledge, but they are designed to let you practice and intensely study that aim. Study programs. So study programs are the lesser known option for young people. These are tailor-made programs which are made up of packages of qualifications designed to suit your needs. The programs are built around a core vocational qualification which helps you prepare for the career that you're interested in. The level and size of qualification you undertake will depend on your prior achievement and your end goal. So, what else is there? If none of the previous options appeal to you, you can consider starting your career straight from school by applying for and getting a job. And there's lots of places that you can look for jobs. National jobs boards like CV Library and Total Jobs, and regional jobs boards like Stockport Jobs Match being one of them. Most platforms will allow you to create a profile where you can upload your CV and easily apply to positions which interest you. If employment is your goal, then it's really important to spend some time on your CV and application. Keep a track of where you've applied to so that if someone contacts you with regards to your application, you'll be ready to respond, you'll remember their name, and you'll give a good impression. Also be aware that online applications will often be screened by an ATS. This stands for an applicant tracking system. This is a software application which recruiters and employers can use to help them filter through large numbers of CVs that job seekers might send to them. There are guides on Stockport Jobs Match about things like how to create a good CV, a free CV template for school leavers, how to get past an ATS, what employers look for, and how to look for work online. You should consider reviewing your CV and asking for some advice if you continue to have no responses to your applications. And a lot of the providers that we're going to highlight throughout the week have support services that will give you feedback on your CV and help you tailor it to different applications. So be sure to take advantage of those schemes. You could also boost your chances by getting some work experience through a traineeship or volunteering. And even though this might not appeal to you as it's unpaid, it will impress future employers and give you real life examples which you can discuss at interview. And we'll mention volunteering shortly. Self-employment is an option too. So working for yourself will mean that you can pursue activities which you are passionate about and which help you to build your income and tailor around your working week. There's lots of aspects to being self-employed. Some of these can feel overwhelming. There's tax bills, national insurance, business insurances, legislations and other responsibilities. It will depend on the business that you set up, how much you earn and whether you become a sole trader or a limited company. Now, if this is an option you are considering, you might want to gain employment first or volunteer with someone who runs a similar business to build up experience. Or you could seek assistance through the Princess Trust, who will be speaking as part of this week's provider webinars, or other organisations who have a history of supporting young people in this area starting their own enterprises. And they may match you up with a mentor and provide you with initial training and things like writing a business plan or applying for funding. If you feel overwhelmed by the choices on offer, or you just don't know what's right, step back and spend some time thinking things through. We've prepared a lot of resources designed to help you plot out possible pathways and evaluate what might be a good route for you. Again, on the Jobs Match website, there are some next step planning tools, and one of these is a provider or pathway evaluation. If you think an option might be good, use this document to help you work out the pros and the cons and where it could take you next. Don't feel rushed into making a decision. Even if almost everyone around you has seemingly made a decision about what they're doing and feels confident and happy, it's better to take your time and make the right decision than rush into one that you'll regret later. Research. Arm yourself with as much information as possible and as many sources as you can. We've arranged for providers to be on hand directly, either over social media or in the evenings. And you can also make an appointment to speak to a careers advisor or access our helpline on Friday. Try it on for size 2. Some colleges and providers will have taster days and find your feet sessions. They might be virtual or real life, depending on the COVID restrictions and the policy of the provider. There'll be lots of information on the websites and social media pages over the coming weeks about student life, what to expect, and contact information for people to talk to. If you don't feel ready to make a decision just yet, there are programs that will help you. The Prince's Trust and Street League are just 2 of the providers taking part this week who have programs dedicated to supporting you. You'll develop confidence, make friends and gain experience, which will help you on your next step. What if you make the wrong decision? Well, everybody makes mistakes. It's also okay to change your mind and direction. Not everyone knows what they want to be at the age of 16. In fact, on average in the UK, people will change jobs every 5 years, and statistics show that the average person will change careers 5 to 7 times during their working life. Is it because they made bad decisions? Well, in most cases, probably not. Sometimes the only way we learn something is by trying. Recognizing that something isn't for us after we've tried isn't necessarily wrong. It's better to realise early on that something isn't right for you and to make changes to something better than it is to continue on a path that makes you unhappy. Learn from experience. Oh, that one. Learn from experience. Think about why something isn't right for you so that you don't repeat the same bad choices, but also because this will help you at interviews. Remember that those who do well at interviews can sell themselves because they're aware of how an employer can benefit from those skills and experiences, and our mistakes teach us lots of things. If you feel like you have made the wrong choice about your subjects or courses, there will always be someone you can talk to about how you're feeling. Your tutor, student services, a college counsellor, your social worker, your job coach. Their job is to support you and look after your welfare as well as your academic achievement. The earlier you raise concerns, the more options that you will have. There will be a cut-off point where it isn't possible to change your options, and you will have to either continue or restart. Restarting may not always be an option depending on your age and other factors such as your attendance and performance. Be aware that some aspects of your courses you might not enjoy, but they might be mandatory. For example, you might not want to take your GCSE maths again and not see the point in doing it. However, it will be a condition of funding that the provider offers you this, meaning that the government will fund other courses if you also resit your GCSE. Okay, moving on to EHC plans. So an EHC plan is a legally binding document which outlines the additional support you require and the provision that needs to be in place. It can last until you leave education or until you turn 25, but it doesn't apply to university education. At a minimum, your EHCP should be reviewed annually. And if you move to a different local authority, you can transfer your EHCP. At the review, one of three actions might be taken: leave it unchanged, make changes, or end the EHCP. Having an EHC plan doesn't mean your options are limited. It doesn't prevent you or hinder you from applying for any of the options we've talked about so far, if they're the right choice for you. But it does ensure that providers are aware of the environment and the support you need in order to achieve your goals. For some young people with more complex needs, the options we've talked about so far might not be what you're looking for. A supported internship is a programme designed to support you into employment if you have an EHC plan. But if employment is not your immediate goal and you want to progress to college, then there are providers who offer specialist education, including personalised support, tailored programme and life skills. And some of those providers will be talking about examples of these in our webinar later today. If you start an apprenticeship, your employer or assessor should be aware that there are flexible allowances made for the endpoint assessment for an intermediate, that's a level 2 apprenticeship, regarding functional skills, maths and English if you have an EHC plan, SEND statement or learning difficulty assessment. They can also extend the apprenticeship and allow you to complete it on a part-time basis if this is applicable. Now, it's quite normal. So we've covered EHCP. It's quite normal to feel anxious about the changes. If you feel like this is overwhelming, it's really important to make somebody aware of it. Talk to an adult who is responsible and that you trust, a parent, carer or guardian, or there are dedicated staff at school who are there to help. There are also a number of organisations who are free to contact. You can find them listed on the Stockport Jobs Match website if you go to the careers section and click on specialist support. Some of these offer a telephone service and some of them offer an online chat function. All of them are completely anonymous and available 24/7. Under normal circumstances, transitioning from school to your next steps is hard anyway. And this year is understandably more difficult than normal. There's not been the normal amount of preparatory activities. You've been out of school for a period of time and things haven't been at all normal. Be kind to yourself and others around you, and remember to let someone know if you're feeling low or not okay. There are lots of places that you can find support. Okay, just want to cover a little bit now about some of the things that post-16 start to become important. So, first of all, a national insurance number, an NI number, or NINO, NINO, as they are sometimes called. That's a unique number that only relates to you. You'll receive this somewhere around your 16th birthday, as once you turn 16, it'll be mandatory for you to pay national insurance contributions if you earn more than £184 a week, or make more than £6,515 profit a year as a self-employed person. Your NI number is used by a number of different organisations and will link to your state pension and any benefits. It's really important to keep this safe. If you have lost it, you can open a personal tax account on the gov.uk website where you can view your records and print off a confirmation letter. You'll also need a bank account once you start working, because most employers will pay your salary via PAYE backs. This is an automated system which deposits your wage directly into your account. You may also find that some providers will only pay bursary into a bank account, which usually has to be your own. There are lots of types of accounts available and the banks have a responsible lending code, so we'll support you with managing your money. Being an adult also brings with it growing personal responsibilities, and one of these will be to provide proof of your identity. You'll need forms of ID such as a birth certificate, passport, provisional licence, bank account, letter from an official organisation such as a local authority or doctor to enrol at a provider, start an apprenticeship or a job. This is to ensure that you are eligible, prove your identity and address, make sure any qualifications are registered in the correct name, and possibly apply for a DBS amongst other reasons. Keep your ID safe and remember it's your responsibility to provide them when asked. So on that front, if you are changing your name or identity, your provider will be able to signpost you to organisations who can help and support you if you want to change it. Except at 16, except in some rare cases, it's legally your own decision to change your name, which you can do by a statutory declaration or a deed poll. Note that a deed poll is not necessary and a statutory declaration is sufficient and cheaper. You may want to change your gender on all records, so HMRC, birth certificate, etc., which you can do by a GRC, a gender recognition certificate. You can find more information about how to change some official records and documents online. This may be a sensitive subject for you, and you may come across challenges in organisations being consistent in adopting your stated name and identity. If you are living permanently in your new gender role, there is no lawful reason why organisations should not register you using the pronouns and name you provide. Okay, moving on quickly to financial help. So financial help is available in many forms and it will depend on eligibility criteria. Your provider can talk you through the options and refer you to external help as well as if it will benefit you. Now, the amount of information requested can sometimes feel over the top or intrusive. The only reason that evidence is requested is to ensure that you can receive all of the help you're entitled to. Financial worries can have a big impact on your mental health and become an obstacle, which is something everyone will be keen to avoid. As we have urged you to do this week, talk to someone and take action early if you are worried about money. If you are living on your own or moving into semi-independent living, you might need more support to handle the transition from school to college than other students. If you're leaving care, you'll have a personal advisor who will help you create a pathway plan. You will be eligible for a higher rate of funding or bursary if you continue to study, and may also be eligible for other grants or benefits. If you've left home of your own choice or you've been asked to leave, you might be eligible for some benefits and should contact your local authority for help and guidance. Your college might have a department called Student Support Services or something similar, and they will have a designated safeguarder who will help you with matters regarding your mental and physical safety and welfare. Your local council services will also have advisors who can help you with housing, benefits, finance and welfare matters. And as mentioned, we've placed a small directory of supportive organisations on the Jobs Match website. Finding work. So you can also find work whilst you're a student, and many FE providers will encourage you to find part-time work as it'll help you develop many of the transferable skills you need in life, as well as giving your CV an advantage over other young people who don't have experience. There are lots of sites aimed at helping students find their first job, and Stockport Jobs Match is a good starting point because it has advice on how to progress through every stage of your career, from finding work, applying for jobs, interviews, your first day on the job, probation periods, etc. Remember to keep your end goal in sight. It's easy to be sidetracked once you start earning money. Keep a balance between work and study, especially if you have upcoming exams or deadlines. Be aware that if you begin full-time employment, your household is receiving benefits or tax deductions based on your status as being in full-time education, this may be affected, so check first. A couple of last things. Everybody has a personal tax-free allowance, which they can earn before they pay any tax, and this is no different for students. If you work for an employer throughout the year, you will be more than likely be paid by bank transfer or pay-as-you-earn PAYE systems, where a tax code tells the employer how much to deduct for tax and national insurance from your wage. At the end of the tax year, you may be able to claim a refund if you've paid too much tax. And if you only work during the holidays, you should ask your employer for a P38S so you don't pay tax, but it would depend on how much you're earning and how many hours you are working. There is lots more information on gov.uk. I hope you found this module interesting and informative, and again, we've managed to cram in a lot. Remember that this is just the starting point. There's lots more information available on Stockport Jobs Match and GMAX. On the Job Match website, you'll also be able to find career guides covering a range of different sectors, employer videos giving you a day in the life insight into different jobs and careers, and lots of resources which can help you find your path. Our provider webinars throughout the week will also give you an insight into how those pathways match up with the providers on offer at the moment. Thank you.